What is up, YouTube? Back from the YouTube video, and today we have a guide on how to complete the Bay of Drowned Wishes Master Lost Sector. Now to find this, you're going to go to your Destinations tab, and then go to the Dreaming City over here on the right. Spawn in over here in Devilian Mist, and then when you spawn in, literally just turn around, and you're going to see right here the Lost Sector. It's going to be in this cave. You can see the Lost Sector icon right there. If you don't see this flag right here, and you don't see the symbol on your map right here, that means you have to complete it normally. So all you have to do is go ahead and go straight inside the cave, and then once you reach a certain point, it'll tell you that you've discovered the Lost Sector. So I'm just going to keep going through to show you that, and then once you do discover it, you're going to want to kill everything. So kill all the enemies, kill the boss with the chest at the end, and you'll unlock Legend and Master difficulty for this Lost Sector. You can see Bay of Drowned Wishes. If it's your first time, it'll say discovered. And then here you can see some red hellfire enemies, so you would just make your way through there. Like I said, kill all the enemies, kill the boss with the chest at the end, and you will unlock Legend and Master difficulty. So we're going to make our way back up here. Now going over the modifiers, and then we're going to go into the loadout and then go over the gameplay. So let's just make our way back here. And you can see the modifiers right now. So we're going to go on Master. And you can see we have Void Shields for shielded foes. We're going to have Master modifiers, which are extra champions, blocked loadout, and extra shields. Limited revives, Overload, and Unstoppable champions. Arc threat, 25% increase in incoming arc damage. Raider shield, Scorn Raiders now have Void Shields. Chaff, radar is disabled. Overcharged weapons. Strand Surge, 25% bonus to outgoing strand damage. And then Solar Surge, 25% bonus to outgoing solar damage. Then Overcharged Sniper Rifle with a 25% bonus to sniper rifle damage. Now you can see for your rewards, Enhancement Cores are uncommon, and if completed solo, Legendary Weapons are common. If completed solo, Exotic Leg Armor is common, and then recommended power is 1840, but you can see I'm 1827, and we're going to get this done no problem. So let's go ahead and get into the loadout. So get into the loadout, you can see we're running Solar Subclass, and we got Golden Gun Marksman. For the abilities, we have Gambler's Dodge, Triple Jump, Knife Trick, and Healing Grenades. For the aspects, we have On Your Mark and Knock 'em Down. And for the fragments, we have Ember of Ashes, Ember of Char, Ember of Solace, Ember of Torches, and Ember of Eruption. Now, for the primary weapon, it can be whatever you want. I just have Riptide, and you kind of saw me use it there towards the end of the gameplay. I don't really use it too much. I mainly use Polaris Lance, but just have whatever you want here in the first slot. Then for the secondary slot, I am running Polaris Lance, and this one, you're basically just going to hit crits with it. It's really helpful for Unstoppable champions, because for the Unstoppable champions, you hit your 4 crits, then you load that 5th explosive round that hits the champion. It's going to stun them, and then you have a chance to do damage, or you do what I do, and it's you just keep spamming crits until the champion dies. So that's one way that you could do it. I do want to note that I do have the Catalyst completed, so I do have Dragonfly as a second perk, as you can see right there. But going into the heavy weapon, Apex Predator. It doesn't have to be Apex Predator in particular. It could be any rocket launcher, strand, or solar. I recommend, just because you can take advantage of the damage boost and everything provided by the solar and strand increase. But other than that, if you don't have a solar and strand one, you can still use any rocket launcher. It's just you're not going to do as much damage, and then it's really only there to stun overloads. If you don't care about using overload rocket launcher, you can use something like overload auto rifle or pulse rifle. And then I would put something in the, primary slot here to stun those overloads or something like that. So for example, I would throw the Duty Bound on, and that could stun my overload, or I can use Peace of Mind or something like that, right? But that's just one thing you can do. I recommend, at least if you have a solar rocket launcher, I do recommend using overload rocket launcher, just because it makes it a little easier. But again, that's just completely up to you. For the armor, running Celestial Nighthawk is the exotic helmet with harmonic targeting, harmonic siphon, and hands-on. I know it says solar, but if I show you right here, harmonic targeting and harmonic siphon. So just make sure you have those on instead of the solar ones, because if you try to put the solar siphon on, you can't, because it's too much armor mod energy. So you're going to want to just use the harmonic targeting and harmonic siphon to get those perks without having to actually put in the actual mod. Now for the arms, solar loader and heavy handed. And then for the chest piece, we have 2 arc damage resistant mods and charged up. For the legs, we have stacks on stacks and 2 kinetic weapon surge mods. And then for the cloak, we have 2 bomber mods and a time dilation mod. Now, when it comes to the artifact, feel free to pause it here. Here I actually reset my artifact, but I'll just kind of highlight it real quick. For the first row, it doesn't really matter as long as you just use if you're using any of these to stun champions, for example, let's say you're using Overload Auto Rifle like I mentioned earlier, make sure you have it equipped. But then for the first row, doesn't really matter. For the second row, Kindling Trigger and From Whence You Came, as well as Blast Radius, I recommend. And then Flint Striker with Wished Into Being. Heart of Flame isn't going to count here because we're not playing with allies, we're playing solo, so this is not going to give us a boost of any kind, so I'm not going to get rid of it, but just know this one is not that useful. And then for the next row, Overload Rocket Launchers, obviously to stun Overload champions with rocket launchers, that's what I'm going to be using. And for the last row, Rays of Precision and Solo Operative. So that's the artifact there. Again, feel free to pause it and just copy it, that's what you want to do. But that's everything I used to get the Lost Sector complete. So now that we went over the loadout, let's get into the gameplay.